Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. And for our first deck guide video, I had to bring you something really solid and really spicy. And although Dragoncraft really suffers in the sort of ramp archetype department, I think they have a really solid aggro deck. And you've probably seen it on ladder a little bit more. I feel like I have seen it over the last couple days, but I wanted to shout out my friend Mineral, who has been playing them to Diamond and doing very well with them. There are some caveats with this deck, definitely. It can go on some hot streaks. I had an 11 win streak yesterday. But the deck is truly an aggro deck, whereas Swordcraft, which I switched to and was spending a lot of time on, is really more of a mid-range deck, I think, in how it plays, how it operates. So this particular deck, before we dive in, is coming from a mixture of lists from two different Twitch YouTubers. There's Mateo and there's Terracoco, and both basically trade back and forth rank number one. So they are clearly choosing this deck because you can grind fast games, you can win fast, lose fast, and I think it is a particularly fun kind of glass cannon playstyle if you've got the cards for it. So without further ado, let's dive into Aggro Dragon. All right, folks, this is quite the list, and you're going to see that it's very linear and fairly straightforward, although I think there are quite a lot of important decisions to make. And typically when you play aggro, especially I think from my Magic background, you generally have maybe less decisions to make, but the decisions matter more, right? The sequencing matters more. Being able to trade damage before your opponent can kill you really means that you have to be making proactive and important choices. So really the crux of it, especially for the early game, you're really hoping to get Fan of Otahime online. This thing is just so powerful. I don't think I really understood initially how strong Storm and Ward are, right? This is just aggro and defense, right? You get to hit them for 2, they have to trade into it or use a spell, so they're down tempo, right? You've already hit them and it's soaked up a spell or an attack, right? And so this is going to be, you know, your premier 1-drop that then you can turn your awkward draws or, you know, the most efficient turns into these 2/2 Storm Ward tokens, the bodyguard tokens. So really essentially you have that. Strike of the Dragon Newt, at times I felt underwhelmed by, but generally just does its job to do, you know, sort of a net positive in terms of play points. You're usually paying 1 to kill a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and then later in the game it can be even better than that. Some of the neutral includes with the Indomitable Fighter, play it as a 2/2 for 2, but having it as a 5/5 for 4 is generally pretty solid for the deck that's trying to be aggressive. Ruby really helps kind of smooth out your hands a little bit, but you're not trying to, you know, always have her in your opener. I think really the 2 premier 2-drops are going to be Little Dragon Nanny, which is important for creating the whelps that have Intimidate, and so if they don't have spells to take care of these or AoE, they're really going to chip away at your opponent's life total. And then Fire Newt, again, very efficient, tends to be a 2 for 1 a lot of the time. Get to ping a pesky soldier token or soften something else up to be killed by, you know, the Strike of the Dragon Newt. And then Phil, again, just basically an all-star card in the aggro mid-range meta overall. So Phil doing a ton of work. And then we've got some of our cool little tech here too with the neutral for Vigilant Detective. Getting that one of take off a ward sometimes just is going to win you the game. And you can also just essentially get a 2 for 1, right? They kill your 3/3. And then you play your, you know, maybe your lens you don't need. And so you cycle that to Otahime, right? And so you get a little bit of card advantage there. Apollo is still very necessary for kind of just keeping the board clear and pushing damage. Effia, generally I'll turn an early one into an Otahime token because it's kind of strictly better, right? It hits for 2, it's got 2 health, and it's got ward. But in the late game, again, giving this Intimidate, being able to buff it up aggressively is going to do some pretty aggressive work for you. And then when we get into the 4-drops, and then there's just kind of the top end, Draconic Berserker is absolutely backbreaking. Sometimes you're going to play it on 4, it kills something, and you get to attack, so it's kind of like a bigger fill down. But generally what I like to do with this card, especially if I'm playing into decks that have defensive options, is holding a Draconic Berserker for the Super Evolve. Dealing 4 to everything is really, really strong for helping you keep pushing damage, and generally means you're going to clear their whole board and clear their biggest unit, no problem. Then we've got Marion, who just is really good at pushing damage. If your opponent ever stumbles, you're going to bump up something when it comes into play. It gets a little bit beefier after 7 play points, and then you can also just then evolve him or super evolve if you really need to clear something out and keep punching damage. He just does exactly what you need to in an aggro deck. And then we get to the crux of why this deck operates so well is Forte. The fact that this is a 5/2 Storm Intimidate, you're almost always going to buff it right to 7 when it comes into play, and then 8 in the later stages of the game. It's so hard to play around this unless you are constantly gaining life or deploying ward, and sometimes you just go Forte into Forte and the game's over. So she is just really potent, and why this deck operates the way it does. Olivia, I like this as the one of in the deck, be able to refill your hand a little bit, maybe gain a little bit of life that you took some chip damage, and play one of your vast array of 2-drops is great, and you get that card advantage from the Super Evolve. And then, of course, last but not least, we got Warrior of the Deep, Mr. Sharkman himself, Shark Dragon Craft guy. Just deal 6 to face, right? Like that's kind of the magic number you're trying to get your opponent down to. It's not terribly hard to do that with this deck when you curve out. And Warrior of the Deep is just 6 damage to the face that your opponent cannot stop from happening. So that is the list. I really do recommend this if you're especially an aggro lover. There is a lot of intricacy to the deck. A lot of the decisions you make will make or break your game, your matchup. But I think it's really fun, definitely competitive, and a really great choice, as is evidenced by some of the top players on the ladder for climbing, getting those chests, and getting your rank up. So let's get into the games. Okay, going against Sword, we're on the play. That's always going to be a bit rough because they're going to have first Evo, which I think is generally just very good for us because we're always trying to push damage with our Evos. But I guess we shall see. Alright, well, Apollo is definitely good for this matchup. Warrior the definitely not. And Draconic is, I think, also pretty good for this matchup. We've got our 2, 3, 4. So I think we'll... Okay. Double Draconic is good. That's going to be a way that we can maybe recover. Great draw off the top with the fan. That's awesome. We love to see it. A 1-drop. Wouldn't really expect it. Could play Fighter, but obviously I can play that bigger later. Let's play Phil. Pass. Next turn I think we'll probably fan away something. Okay, just false. So Wind Rider. Kind of rather just turn that into an Otahime token. I think generally I like that. I could play at Apollo here, that's fine, but I think we're going to want to Evo Apollo, most likely. So get that 2 damage. Obviously, if they can remove that, it's annoying, but generally they're going to have to trade something. Ooh. Seraphic Titans. That's not what I would expect to see. So we could fan our fan, or we could play Fighter. They've got Evo. This is more energy efficient, or play point efficient. And if they have the 6/6 that then hits, it's all about just how much damage I want to put together. But I'll take the 4 energy and turn it into a 5/5 here. Okay. Some removal out. Could just play Apollo and evolve. But I'd kind of rather do that next turn. Could also just Draconic here and evolve to just have a problematic body they have to deal with. And could also fan evolve. I think all those options are good. I think Draconic's a little stronger here, depending on what removal or what 5-drop they've got. I think Draconic's a little bit better here, because I don't really want the soldier sticking around to get some sort of buff. Got a 6/7. Should be a little tough for them to chew through. The next turn, I think ideally we're fanning the second fan and Apollo evoing, and then leaving, you know, a super evo for Draconic and whatever aggressive stuff we get. Okay. Yeah, so that's part of why holding the Apollo obviously is very good. So yeah, let's get that going. They also may not be expecting Apollo out of this build, should be fair to say. And then we're going to discard our fan, or we could play Searing Nude, but we've already got the ability to hit this. And now we put our opponent in a really awful position, because they're going to have to really try and remove everything, and then we have Draconic if they try to fully develop. But we can also just use our Super Evos plus Fan to push damage, and that should be pretty hard for them to deal with. Okay. Good response from our opponent, but okay, well, 14 off the top. Oh, that's pretty good. I think we do want to save Apollo. Well, no, we can Draconic Berserker as well. Forte is almost guaranteed lethal, so I think we're just gonna do that. I don't even have to Evo here. Which I think is actually reasonable, because I might need the 2 Super Evos. Yeah. I mean, we're in a very winning position, so I just want to reduce any likelihood that they could come back. I mean, if they don't have removal for Forte, it's just... Okay. Yeah. Good response here, but I've got the red card for it, or red cards. So, we're okay. And that's how we do it.
I will not falter.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect game, honestly. Another Swordcraft match. All right, we're gonna be going second. Should be good for us.
This brings me back.
Okay, pretty solid hand. Forte, I can afford to take later, and if I kind of just rather see Fan. Some other 2-drops if I can. Perfect. Great opener. Fan. Pass. Newt is great in this matchup too, generally speaking. Oh, am I going to take this play point? Generally, I don't want to. I want a Forte out on 5. But I also don't want this to go off. They get quite a tempo advantage, but I think this is okay. Kind of the worst they could do is like put the 2/2 and the 1/1 from the night thing, and then hit, you know, trade into this. But then Searing Nude plus Strike clears it all out. That's fine. That I don't care about. Obviously, that clears that out. I think that's what we have to do, and we just play our 2-drop here. Although I love getting value from this thing. It is what it is. And we're probably going to turn our Warrior of the Deep into a token. Oh, Zirconia no evolve. That's pretty huge for us. Yeah. Yeah, this is just us getting to go evolve first. They probably have a second one if they're playing it like this, which makes sense. We get to clear their thing fully and hit for 4. It's basically like we super evolved there twice. When you get to play Marion in that way. Yeah, there's the second one. Makes sense. See what they want to do. Yep. Makes sense. Ooh, Apollo off the top, actually. Yeah, that's better. For sure, that's better than Forte here. Keeps us ahead on board. And we still get to fan away one of our 8 drops. Because we're going to lose that point anyway. Yeah. I mean, 1 Forte is basically putting them at lethal. Okay, Hounds is good. They get to clear the board. Okay, they're going to Evo. That's probably correct here. Keep a dog alive. But it's not going to matter because we're going second. So we get to hit with Forte into Warrior. And I don't even think Olivia saves them here, right? With the math. Because I Evo to 8. They can only go up to 4. Yeah. Just is what it is. Then we've got our 8 drop for next turn. I think the most life they can gain here is typically 2 to 3. So being under 6 is just lethal. Even if they were to produce some sort of ward or something, that's very good. But not gonna save them. Otahime also kills them. Like, just kind of checkmate if you go below. You can get your opponent to basically sub 10 life. It should be roughly checkmate as long as you sequence it well. And 5 different ways to do it, but I love playing the shark.
I will not falter.
GG's. Okay. With the Dragon Mirror here, I'm going to assume this is aggro. I feel like it is the most effective, popular way to play this faction, this class. Put our 7 drop back. Dragon Nanny's fine. Fighter is fine too. I think I want more shots at hitting Fan here. It's just so important. Wow, like perfect hand. So as long as they don't come out of the gate swinging, us having Evo advantage is huge. So, okay, start out with Little Dragon Nanny. Potentially play double 2 drop. Oh, they're ramping. Okay, well, good thing to know. So we can either play Detective, or we can use our Fan here. So they're going to be on 5, which opens this up to a lot of different things. They generally don't have great 5 drops to play, so it's probably going to be like 2, 3. I think Detective, they're not really going to have a ton of ward outside of Garyu, but it's probably worth it to develop this. On the off chance that we face down Garyu, because it does produce a ward unit. Okay. Herald's gaining them nothing. That's pretty great for us. And we've got first Evo advantage. The question is, how do we take advantage? 6, they could have Calamity and just wipe the whole board. There's kind of no way to play around that, other than not committing too many resources. I do want to take this out in kind of the most efficient way. So I guess that is playing Draconic. And then this doesn't die to Calamity. That's probably the best play if we're playing around that card. Calamity, I think, is 5 damage to everything. Chunk them to 13. Pretty huge. Okay, Lu Feng has to manual evolve, which is fine. See what they got here. Oh! Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay. Dragoncraft. This is probably going to be a tougher matchup, especially if they're playing Storm. I think most people are on the Storm version. I think a lot of people are liking aggro these days. Alright, so you got 2/2 drops. Marion is helpful if we get established. I'd love to get Fan as well. It's really huge for the matchup. I think I'll throw back Marion. Okay. That's unfortunate. Oh. Would have loved to see that, the Fan, but can't have it all every game, you know? Alright. Okay. Darkhaven's fine. There's the Fan. I guess we're just going to play out Phil here. Kind of want to see if I can get a little value off the Newt. I might not be able to. I used to play really conservatively with this card where I'm like, oh no, I only want to play it when I Evo it, but I don't think that's correct in aggro. Alright, so we're not going to get any value. That's okay. We can just Fan here. Considering Newt as well. Just add stuff to the board. Hit for 2. Next turn, I don't know if we're going to be able to use this play point efficiently unless we hit Forte or something. Right now it's kind of looking awkward. Imagine they're going to pop this unless they have an answer to the 2 drops. Yeah. Makes sense. Alright, well Marion's good here. Oh, we drew Forte. Okay, that's really good. That's kind of like exactly what we want to see. Do I Evo this up to 6? I think so. I think we just want to push. So they have their 5-drop next turn, which can't clear this. And if I Evo, it's even more annoying for them because the board just goes back to 0. Yeah. It's also just guaranteed damage we have on them. And that's just so important for closing out this game. Alright, our draw kind of improved here because otherwise I was thinking we were going to be in real trouble. Iron Fist is a good answer. Right? Or Raven's Iron Fist. Oh yeah, it is Iron Fist Breach. Wait. Select an enemy follower on the field with 3 defense. I don't know why I thought it was 3 play points. Or less. Okay, that card's a little worse than I thought it was. Okay. We can go Forte or we could go Otahime Windrider. Forte has definitely more guaranteed damage, so I think that's the play. It's what you hate to see on 5 when we have Evo advantage as well. We're down to 6. We've got Warrior of the Deep in 2 turns, so we just have to keep their life total down enough. We don't die to the 5-drop, which is good. That will be a bit of a roadblock, but we've actually got Draconic Berserker Super Evo next turn to clear out whatever their defense is. Okay, smart. Yep. Yeah, they have to do that. But we've got game here.
He gave me direction.
And that's all she wrote. Whew, that's what we like to see, baby. And that's all you gotta do to have a 4-win streak, I guess. Just draw very well and your opponent has lets you go second. Not too shabby. Alright folks, that's what I got for you today. I hope it was fun to see how kind of lightning quick this deck can be. And a little bit of the sequencing, a little bit of like how your mulligans look, I think is a really important point. How you can sort of hedge for like the best curve out, you know, the play patterns that you need to disrupt their board or to push as much value out of Fan as you can. And then just hoping you always have Forte on 5 or 6, I think is a bit of a game plan. So Thanks so much for all the support on the channel. We've been slowly but surely leveling up for Shadowverse content, so if you like what you're seeing, feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.